So what happened? Metal Gear is back. Konami have just announced Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, which they are calling Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. And then they also announced that they are porting over the original trilogy onto current platforms as well, which is fantastic. What I want to do in this video is just basically talk about what I think of Metal Gear coming back and what I think will be involved in the series being back as well. It has been rumored for a long time that Metal Gear was going to come back, and I think after seeing Konami do the Silent Hill transition, it made it a little bit more clear that we might see Metal Gear come back. Now, for me personally, Metal Gear is one of my favourite franchises. It'd probably be my top 2 favourite after Resident Evil, and Solid Snake is my favourite gaming character. So to see the Metal Gear franchise come back does feel like a pretty big deal. But at the same time, did I think that it should have come back? Not really. I love the series to death, but I think the way the series is now, I think it's had a pretty satisfying closure. So Metal Gear 1 to 4 really closed everything off really nicely. I think games like Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, all those games were just filler and just like adding to the background lore. But I feel like Metal Gear 1 to 4 were a complete story, and I think it all ended satisfying with 4. But then games like Metal Gear Rising came out, and I thought that game is pretty great. But really, that's continuing Jack's story. But in terms of Solid Snake or Big Boss, I think their stories are overall finished. So really, what can they do with bringing back the series? And so that's why I feel a bit on the fence that they brought back the series, because I think, what can they really do? You can't really make a new game, because all you'll be doing is putting a new slice of story into an already bloated timeline. Like, I think we've got a lot of Solid Snake's story. We don't need really anything else, especially with the 2 Metal Gear games, the Metal Gear Solid 2, and then Metal Gear Solid 4. And then with Big Boss, you've got Metal Gear Solid 3, Portable Ops, Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, and Platinum Pain. So I feel like both characters have really had a lot of content done with them, and I don't think there's any point really doing more or filling in more spaces. So for them to bring back the series, I don't know, it feels a bit weird. It feels like all they're going to do is just remake a lot of the games, which I think personally it's a little bit pointless, especially since they're porting over the original games, which I think is fantastic. Very happy that they are porting over the original games. It's something that I've been wanting Capcom to do with the original trilogy of Resident Evil, port over Resident Evil 2 and 3 originals. The reason why I wasn't that bothered that Resident Evil 4 was getting a remake was because we still had Resident Evil 4 on current platforms. So to get a remake, it felt like it didn't really matter. You didn't feel like it was taking over the original. It still had the original. So to get Metal Gear Solid 3 ported over to current consoles is great. So even though the remake's coming out, I don't feel like it replaces the original, because the original you can still play on current platforms. So that's fantastic. Now it does say, in terms of the porting, it does say Volume 1. So they're porting over Metal Gear Solid 1, which is fantastic. They're porting over the original Metal Gear 1. They're going to be porting over Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3. And then along with that as well, it'll probably be from the HD collection. So you will get MGS2 Substance and MGS3 Substance as well. But with the HD collection, they did take out a lot of features that were in the original Substance. With the HD collection, they took out the Ape Escape, and also I'm pretty sure they took out a theater mode. Now, in the original Metal Gear Solid HD collection, it did come with Peace Walker as well, which they haven't said is coming in the collection. So I'm not too sure what they're doing there. I feel like what they're going to do is just have the 3 games, so MGS 1, 2, and 3, and then with MGS 2 Substance, you're going to have Metal Gear 1 and 2 on there as well, because that came with the original PS2 version. So you got basically 5 games on there. And then I feel like they're going to do Volume 2, which will have Peace Walker, Portable Ops, and hopefully Metal Gear Solid 4. But that's a little bit tricky when it comes to Metal Gear Solid 4, because that game is very much built into the PS3, and that's why it's never been ported over to any other console. Interesting to see what they do with Metal Gear Solid 4. But yeah, I think in terms of the porting over all the older games, I think that's all fantastic, and I'm very excited to see all those original games be put onto modern consoles and PC. So I think, you know, everyone that's never played the series now has the option to play those games, even though you got a remake coming out. And I mean, it would be amazing to see if they ever touched any of the side stuff in the series. So you got Ghost Babel, you have Twin Snakes, which is the remake of 1, which I don't think they'll touch. You have the Acid series, the 2 games there. You have the mobile game as well, which of course they're not going to touch that. But that is said to be canon. So there's a lot in the series they can kind of play with. But I think they're just going to stick to the main ones. I think in this first collection, we're going to get what they've said. And I think in the next collection, it'll just be Peace Walker, Portable Ops, and then maybe 4, but I'm not too sure there. They might even just put 5 on there and completely skip over 4, which would be a massive shame. So especially since 4 closes off the story of Solid Snake and Big Boss. So to do a remake of 3 and then port over 1, 2, and 3, and then not have 4, the closure to all those games, is just a little weird. So you would hope they're going to try and do something there to bring over Metal Gear 4. But we'll just have to wait and see. Now, in terms of the remake, I think Snake looks really good. We don't get much from the trailer. You can see the End's bird, and you can see the Shagohod off in the distance. But there's not really too much to take from the trailer. I did feel a little bit underwhelmed when I did watch the teaser, but I was pretty excited when the Snake Eater theme came on. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with the remake. We have got some images that look pretty good, and it gives us a little bit more of an insight into what the remake's going to look like. And yeah, it definitely looks gorgeous. Like, the graphics are really good. Some of these images look super faithful, like the one where it's showing the bridge at the start of the game, and the one where it's showing the tree where your baggage gets stuck on the branch. That's very faithful there. And then the area where you meet Ocelot for the first time, that area looks super faithful too. So it looks like they're very much going down the faithful route with this remake. And it's been said that they might be bringing over the original cast, which would be incredible. I really hope they do bring over that original cast. I would love to hear David Hayter voice as Snake again, but we'll just have to wait and see. We are getting the original trilogy and the 2 Metal Gear games on a collection already. And I'd love for them to bring over Peace Walker, Portable Ops, and Metal Gear Solid 4, and then even just port over Metal Gear Solid 5. That would be incredible to see all those games on modern platforms. I think the fact that they're porting over all that stuff, you know, I'm okay with them doing a remake. You know, fine, go at it. But it does look like this Metal Gear 3 remake will be pretty faithful to the original game. It'll be interesting to see if they do any changes to it. But yeah, I'm very excited, and I'm keen to see some gameplay from the remake and to see what they port over after this first collection. But it is good to have Metal Gear back. It is one of my favourite franchises, and I will be going through the series on this channel, reviewing every game and any side content as well. So I probably will start that retrospective before the remake comes out, so look forward to that in the future. But with that, thank you very much for watching. If this content served to entertain, be sure to like, share and subscribe.